Good morning, grade 4. Hope you all fine. Today we're going to talk about a new concept, and this concept to talk about something called speed. So, to fully understanding of speed, you have to know that there is some important words like distance and time. You have to know the meaning of it. First of all, let's start with distance. So, distance, it's the length that object moves. For example, the distance between your home and your school is about 10. Okay? So the distance, it's the length that object travel or moves. Okay? So I think there is something missing. I said there is a distance between my home and school. It's about 10. So I cannot understand. What? 10? 10 what? 10 apples to 10 kilogram, 10 liters. What is this? Actually, scientists measure distance by special unit. Only for distance. We call it as kilometer or meter. Okay? So, I can represent distance or I can know this. I'm talking about distance because of its unit, which is kilometer and meter. So again, distance, it's the distance or the length that the object traveled. I can measure distance by kilometer or meter. So now I can say that the distance between my home and school is about 10 kilometers. Also, we have to know something called time. Time is a time taken by the object to travel or to move that distance. So, if I said that the distance between my home and school is a 10 kilometer, I can say that this distance I can do it in 15 minutes. 15 minutes is the time. So, it is measured by hours or seconds or minutes. Okay? So we have something called distance and something called time. Distance, it's the length that the object traveled. For example, from your home to school. This called a distance. I can measure this distance by kilometer or meter. Time, time is the time taken by the object to travel that distance or to move this distance. So I can say I move from or I have this example. My home and school, between them there's a distance which is 10 kilometers, for example. And I can take this distance in 15 minutes only, for example. Okay? So now let's talk about something called speed. Speed is the distance that object travel in a certain amount of time. So if I have distance and this distance, I calculate the time that object travel this distance in. So now I have something called speed. So speed, it's the distance that the object travel in a certain amount of time. So to talk about distance, I have two concepts to know: distance and time. Speed is the distance that object travel in a certain amount of time. I can measure speed by kilometer per hour or meter per second. Okay? So again, I have something called speed. This speed is the distance that object travel or moves in a certain amount of time. So if the object move a distance or a length and you calculate the time taken by this object to move this distance, now we're talking about speed. I can measure speed by kilometer per hour or meter per second. we want to talk about speed, we have to talk about cheetah. Cheetahs run faster than humans. Actually, cheetah can run 100 meters in 6.4 seconds. Can you imagine this? So it can travel a distance about 100 meters in 6.4 seconds, less than 1 minute, or even half of a minute. So they are the fastest land animal we have known. You know what also? Cheetah can run and go from a speed equals 0, which is in rest, to a speed equal 96.5 kilometer per hour in only 3 seconds. So it's from the rest to 96.5 kilometer in 3 seconds only. That's amazing. Even a high-speed train can go from a speed equal 0 to a speed equal 96.4 kilometer per hour in 37 seconds. Cheetah can do it in only 3. So, cheetah can go this incredible distance in only 3 seconds. That a highway speed train can do it in 37 seconds. So I wonder why. Why cheetah always can do this? We cannot do this. Why? I think we have to know cheetah adaptation for this. And actually, all of them is a structure adaptation. So let's watch together.
That really strikes me. It's just absolutely beautiful footage where you can see in incredible clarity what the cheetah is capable of. There's a number of key elements here, and one of the most important ones is this spine. So the spine of the cheetah is proportionally the longest and the most flexible of any large cat species. And that's really, really important because it enables the cheetah to maximize the stride length. By bunching and coiling the spine alone, it's able to expand this incredible stride rate, which you see.
Look at his back. Watch the back, it's down. Now watch when he comes together, watch when his hind feet come up, look at the back. Go up. Just exactly like a coiled spring. My golly, if a horse had a back like that, a horse could go 90 miles an hour. Look, even though I've watched cheetahs run for over 30 years, which is how long I've worked with them, in that super slow motion, intuitively, that head just never moves and the eyes stay focused. This is the animal that hunts. The neck stretched out, the head steady. Look how steady that head is.
So it's not immediately obvious, but the cheetah's head as well has a whole suite of adaptations. You can see this if you compare it to a fairly similarly sized animal, the African leopard. You can see that the cheetah skull is much shorter and much lighter. So the reason for that is to help expand this nasal cavity and to reduce the weight. So this really enables the cheetah to have a very lightweight head, which you can see that marvelous moment in the footage where she's keeping it very fixed on the prey. She couldn't do that with an overweight head. And so having expanded nasal cavities here actually helps while she's suffocating the prey to be able to recover. There's another really interesting thing that has only just recently been described about cheetah legs, and that's the ratio of different types of muscle fibers. So we know now that the muscles in the hind leg, high in the hind leg, are dominated by these fast twitch fibers, so-called fast twitch fibers, and a particular type of them that enables very, very explosive power. I think the footage is really inspirational. It's the first time that people, including someone like me who's been really fortunate seeing wild cheetahs many, many times, including many hunts, but is able to see cheetahs in all their terrific evolutionary splendor.
When you see these cats running in this incredible slow motion, you see the perfection of everything that they are. This is the cat that is utter perfection for what he does. He does nothing but run. It's all he can do. He's not built to fight. He's not built to compete with the other cats. or even the other predators. This is the only thing he can do, the only thing the cat can do to survive. The perfect running machine for a cat who hunts alone. Wow.
So let's talk in slow motion about the adaptation that happens or that cheetah has to survive. Actually, number one, cheetah's head is low to the shoulder, which decrease the air resistance, friction force of the air. So if you were in a car and you open the window and you make your face out of the window and this car was moving very fast, you feel like the air hit your face or slap you. Okay, this we call it as a air resistance. So cheetah, to fight this, head is low to the shoulder, it's below the shoulder, and this help him to reduce this feeling of air resistance that make the cheetahs can run more fast. Number two, cheetah's nose. Cheetah nose has a large opening. Actually, the large opening which help it breathe a lot of air. So try to run very fast. You would notice yourself doing a lot of breathing, like many times. So to overcome this in cheetah, cheetah's nose has a large opening which help it breathe a lot of air. Okay, so number three, cheetah has a large, oversized, powerful heart that pump the blood all over the body and very fast. So cheetah has a large, oversized, powerful heart. And last and not least, cheetah's spine, which I mean backbone, as we saw in the video, is extremely flexible and acts like a spring. Know what a spring is? We can found this spring in trampoline, for example. So, cheetah spine or backbone is extremely flexible. It can bend and acts like a spring for its leg muscle. And number five, cheetah sticks its claws into the ground while running to push off the ground, which makes it faster. And the body of the cheetah weighs it's about 41 or 45 kilogram, which is less mass. So cheetah body is lightweight, where the average weight of this cheetah or of a male of cheetah is about 41 to 45 kilogram, which is really, really light. All of these structural adaptations that cheetah have help this cheetah to run extremely fast and become the fastest land animal. So, if we have this runner which can run 1 meters and have in 4 minutes, and we have this horse which can run 3 kilometers in 4 minutes in the same 4 minutes. And also we have a car which can travel 6 kilometers in 4 minutes also. And we have this rocket which can travel 400 kilometers in 4 minutes. So all of them can travel these different distance in the same amount of time. So you can tell me which of them is the fastest one? Yes, it's the rocket because the rocket one about 400 kilometers in only 4 minutes. All of them have the same time, but have different distance to travel. So we call this as the difference between speed about object or different object. So runner, horse, car, or rocket can travel different distance in the same amount of time because they have different speeds. Fastest, the one who travels a long or a longer distance in the same amount of time. And the rocket is the fastest one because it can travel about 400 kilometers in only 4 minutes. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.